Welcome back to Nightmare Creatures. Bit of an inauspicious start to the final level of the game. To celebrate this event, I've replaced the music with a track called The Brotherhood of Hecate. It appears on the game's soundtrack, but not in the game itself. It was composed not as a level theme, but as background music for a little story that also appears on the soundtrack. We're supposed to be hearing the Chelsea theme from the first level, which appears in 5 levels in this game, but since I was replacing the music anyway, I decided to give this a shot, and I really like the effect it provides. Also, we just learned the high kick feint, which I've been using since the very first video. I also wanted to show off the walking animation one more time, before we finish things off. But enough of terrible animations, let's get to a really good one. That is a move that the game is never going to teach us, called the Armageddon tactic. It's pretty much exactly what you would want someone to do with a poleaxe. A full 360 spin at waist height that chops off absolutely everything it touches. The problem with it being at waist height, though, is that is over the heads of hellhounds. What you can do to compensate is try to angle yourself slightly away from the hellhound, because the hitbox of the attack has a slight arc to it. It's very slightly lower on the sides, so that can sometimes strike the enemy, or you can try and hit them while they're rearing up to attack you, but that's very inconsistent. So what I find preferable when dealing with hellhounds is to use the Cyclone leg sweep first to knock them down, then follow up with a combo we learned a little while ago called the Judas Jackknife. The animation is identical to Last Judgment, which we learned very, very long time ago, but it was useless because we didn't know the Cyclone leg sweep. If your target hasn't been knocked down, they automatically block the most damaging part of the attack. But if you do manage to land that part, they go down quite quickly. Unique little model for the fountain there. But for the most part, I'm enjoying the fact that we are wandering through levels that are engulfed in flames. You don't see that too often in video games, actually. Not for multiple levels in a row, anyway. It adds some much-needed continuity to these closing stages, as well as an appropriate sense of finality as everything comes burning down around us. Oh, I'm just about sick to death of these hot dogs. Even with my new tactics. Can't do quite enough about them. Not nearly as much as our copious amount of guns can do, anyway. These barrels are already on fire, which, as you might expect, turns them into proximity mines. Makes that hallway extra perilous. Bit of an awkward angle on that bursting door there, because we are actually approaching it backwards. Most levels have provided multiple paths to get through them, but these last few levels really insist on you not taking both the paths in a single run. They made it very awkward to do so. Overcompensated a little bit for how dangerous this room is to enter and actually go hunt down that imp. Shouldn't go in here at all, not even to look at the spooky paintings. And also, because the Hellhound was off-screen, the multi-gun missed him. So for no particularly great reason, I'm insisting on going down both paths. I'm gonna make life easier on myself with the saw blade. Nice little quirk about the Hellhounds is they can't block our attacks when we have the Berserker active. The humanoid enemies can, but these guys, completely screwed as soon as we activate that. Very satisfying. The scripting breaks down even further as we approach the intended entrance to this hallway. We are definitely not supposed to see that hellhound spawn in, and the texture on the backside of that wall is awful. Looks like a mistake more than anything else. But we've cleared out everything here. Time to make actual progress. But I'll heal up first. There goes bloody Crowley now. Left behind an ambush. And a really disgusting patch of wall. Didn't look like fire damage. I think Westminster just needs better upkeep. I absolutely love using the Armageddon tactic as a guillotine. But as with the Judas Jackknife, enemies automatically block the Armageddon tactic anytime you use it, unless they're knocked down. Alternatives include getting them during one of their animations, or being a very specific distance away, as in that case, since they only auto-block if they are within attack range when the attack starts. So what I'm using here is another combo that the game never teaches you. This one is called St. Philip's Lament. And the reason I never landed with it is because it's the most complicated combo in the game. The first input is actually the jump button, and you have to input the second part, which is both attack buttons at the same time, before the jump goes off from pressing the jump button. So most of the time, the attack just doesn't register properly and you do a jump, and usually get hit yourself. Also, it's nowhere near as useful as the Armageddon tactic, even when you do it properly. There we can see that I arced the Armageddon tactic very slightly, enough to hit the Hellhound. Dead end up this way, so I guess we're taking this path. It's actually a good idea not to use spinning attacks on imps now that they can be chopped up, because sometimes they can survive being chopped up, but they cannot survive a hit from a level 3 weapon. Back here we have a very elaborate display room, guarded only by a couple of faceless men. Now we can begin our looting. Doesn't actually matter how much damage we do, this place will be burnt to the ground by sunrise. The Palace of Westminster was the only actual victim of the blaze of 1834. It was started by improper disposal of planks of wood that were being used as tallies for accounting purposes when they tried to update to a paper system. But of course, we know better. Adam Crowley did it. And when he did it, it spread to all the neighboring buildings, unlike the actual blaze that was reported in history. Good thing we've got nightmare creatures to tell us more. Now, all these guns here give us a hint to explode the barrel in the corner and open a further secret room, which has a single enemy in it. We've interrupted whatever he was doing, and he's none too pleased, so I got him with the spin strike, which we learned back in Bloomsbury, which I failed to mention breaks enemy blocks. But it doesn't give you an opportunity to follow up, so still pretty bad. Back in this corner is some weird geometry that we can't get into. Typical shoddy design. And 2D beakers. So I guess we're done here. Nope. That weird corner is actually supposed to show us that the bookcase is movable for a third secret. So what's down here? Some items lying on the ground, which are impossible to pick up. So while I'm struggling in vain here, let's see what's down there on the PlayStation version. neither of the precious health pickups that we desperately need, but the final weapon upgrade, and the final location for weapon upgrade. This is where I discovered, to my absolute horror, that the double health bar is a N64 exclusive feature. Nadia will never get any more health than what she has now. But Ignatius just got a shitload more. The door in front of us is an inconvenient shortcut. It's actually faster to go back the way we came and jump off the balcony. But while we're wasting time, we'll check out the Bonitis glitch. It's been way too long. When I first showed that off, I thought I was going to use it to extreme excess because I loved it so much. But instead, I haven't used it since the very first video. Maybe the weirdest thing about that glitch is the fact that if you complete a level and then continue playing, it no longer works. It will fix itself until you reset the console. Then you can do the glitch again. It's as though they knew about it and had a solution for it, but made one little oversight in implementing it. But whatever the reason, I'm glad it still exists in the game. That's the last enemy. Before we make our way out of here, there's a clock lying on the ground. So let's roll back the hands of time to the PlayStation version, see how it got there. When you're crossing the balcony, the Hellhound knocks it off the edge. It's a really awesome detail, and I'm very disappointed and confused about why they removed it from the N64. But this completes the level. We got 100% to send off the N64 version in style. There's no exit quote from Crowley, he's running scared right now. And you may be confused about why that was so anticlimactic for the final level. And that's because Westminster is a two-parter. We'll pick things up next time with Nadia for the final confrontation. And for now, I'll give our unique music track a little more time to breathe.